What's going on, everybody? Todd here, once again, joined by, I'm just going to start calling you Cake Vodka from now on. Moriarty time. How are you?
Hello. I can't tell if there's something suspended in the shot or not, because from the side view it looks like there's something in there, but from the top down, I can't fucking see anything.
Oh, that sucks.
It's kind of awkward and a little weird. But other than that, I'm fantastic.
That is great. So, have I ever told you how difficult it is running a podcast network?
No, you have not. Tell me, how difficult is it?
It is fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wish it on anybody.
Boy, but it is. Oh yeah, I don't doubt it.
But at the same time, I also am. I'm happy I'm doing it. You know. I mean, we got great shows on the network. We have our schedule down now, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And this is episode 27, Gimmick Bag.
Woohoo!
Which, funny enough, I'm gonna go and look at the dates on this stuff because that's gonna be the really interesting bit. Why did I go to that one? Actually, no, I know why I went to that one. Because it's easier for me to look at the dates. But come on, you piece of shit.
Technical difficulties, everybody.
So since... And this includes specials and me throwing up like the one-off episode stuff.
Uh-huh.
We have not missed an episode. We're like, was it 10 episodes in a row? Which is pretty cool. And I'm excited about that. I mean...
Me too.
It's good consistency. I mean, you went to Disney and planned some stuff out for that and boom, boom, boom. You know? We planned on Christmas holiday and all the other stuff. I mean, we're a well-oiled machine. It's terrific. And I mean, we're putting our nose to the grindstone. We're doing what we need to do, trying to get a new episode out to you guys every week. And this is before we did the Twitch thing. You know, before twitch.tv/Precipice Podcast, which if you're watching this, thank you. Was a thing. So, I mean, I'm super excited to be able to do whatever I can for for the podcast. I mean, sleep, who fucking needs sleep?
Not you. Definitely not you. Sleep is for the weak.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you can sleep for a week. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I got my record schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So there's that, and then it's like, oh well, let me go and figure out like days times I can stream and stuff like that. I got a message. Okay, so let's get into some of the real life stuff that's going on. I got a message from my boss. We went over hours. So we have to take you off Saturday. We'll have you back in. We'll have you in on Tuesday instead. And I'm like,
nah, fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still more of the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, my days
probably will be for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, my days have been consisting of job hunting and working on different elements of the network, or even just trying to get stream stuff done. Like I did a full redesign of all my my stream art, basically,
which looks fantastic, by the way.
I figured I might as well embrace the crazy, and I love the work Vaughn did, hands down. But I've been on Twitch almost 4 years, and I've been running that for. Honestly, I've been running that since I got 100 followers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a good while. So it was time for me to make a change. So I made the change on that. So it's kind of cool. Had to do some other things like add the tablet in there, which throws people off because they're so used to seeing the timer up top. They're just like, there's no timer. It's like it's on the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a trolly bastard in that way. But I mean, like doing stuff like that, planning out games that I'm going to do, because I don't want to say I'm going to double down on doing more retro, quote unquote, games. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to see me playing stuff that just, I mean, they're going to be older games. Plain and simple.
Nothing wrong with that.
Which brings me into, and you usually save this to the back half of the show, but there's a pay-per-view coming up this weekend.
Yes, there is.
We have Elimination Chamber coming up Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing a reaction on Twitch, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we do almost every pay-per-view, we didn't do it last pay-per-view, really, was make picks and such. And as we record this, I remember why we didn't,
Mm-hmm.
because the card didn't get announced till that Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this, also it was Royal Rumble, and because of the Rumble, we didn't know who was going to be in it and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more of that, like when the matches come up, we make our picks, because it'll be so much easier that way as opposed to planning ahead and stuff. I would honestly love to have a full card and be like, okay, here are our picks, and now they're set in stone. But I mean, it's just not viable when they've only announced 4 matches for a pay-per-view, for a 4-hour pay-per-view. Like, the 2 Elimination Chamber matches are probably going to go about
an hour.
30, 45 minutes each.
Maybe. I don't know, because we do have that 7-man whatever the fuck.
That one will probably go an hour.
Yeah.
So we're still looking like an hour 45 right there.
But we also do have a fair amount of ladies in their Elimination Chamber as well.
Yeah, it's a standard 6, and I'm thinking that that's going to be, because once eliminations start in the Elimination Chamber, it usually goes by relatively quick. So we're looking at, I would say between the 2 Elimination Chambers, we're probably looking about I would say about an hour and a half. Right there. So then they still have 2.5 hours to cover with pre-show.
Right.
3 hours if we include the overflow, which we know is going to happen because it always happens.
Mm-hmm.
The elimination, the men's Elimination Chamber, we have Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, John Cena, there was somebody else, and Elias.
Oh.
And so I mean, there's that. That's a thing. Then the women's, we have Alexa Bliss, Bailey, 2 members of Absolution. I mean, it's just like, come on.
I think Mickie James is in there as well.
Yeah. The other 2 matches for Elimination Chamber that have been announced is Nia Jax versus Asuka, where if Nia wins, she's added into the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania.
Right.
And the other one is Bray and
Matt Hardy. Yay, pre-show.
I don't think that's going to be pre-show.
I think it is.
I don't, because we don't have an actual card, but there's 2 matches that just logically will probably get added.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we won't. There might be like a cruiserweight thing as well. You know, like an exhibition of the, because they got that tournament going on, and that's going to be going on, and they don't want to fuck that up and throw a match, you know, one of those matches on the pay-per-view, which is fine. But the 2 matches that have been rumored is we have Titus Worldwide, which will be Titus and Apollo. Against the Bar for the WWE for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Interesting.
And the other one is the Revival against Gallows and Anderson.
Okay.
And I see the Revival, Gallows and Anderson being a pre-show match.
Yeah, I could see that being pre-show too. And I'm pretty sure they're going to probably have that feud for a while.
I see that being pre-show, opening up with, I would say open up with a chamber.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bookend the show with chambers. So, I'm thinking you do the men's chamber first.
More than likely, if it's anything like how Royal Rumble played out,
Yeah,
they'll probably do the dudes will go first. I think that vodka's hitting me. Just
so yeah, I can see them doing the men's elimination chamber first. Then probably Matt Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Then the tag team. No, then Nia Jax. Then the tag team titles, and then the women's elimination chamber, because you don't want to stack 2 women's matches like back to back.
No,
because people get bored.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, even though the work rate has been phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So. But yeah, so we'll make our picks on Sunday for that pay-per-view.
We'll do it live. Come
Yeah.
to the live reaction if you want to hear who we have for picks.
And see my face during horrible spots.
Yes. The best.
But yeah, so I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling really meh about this pay-per-view as a whole in general, and we're only into February. That does not bode well. And they're already, cutting 2 pay-per-views?
Yeah, 2 pay-per-views have been cut.
Mm-hmm.
So after Elimination Chamber, we only have 14 to go. Yay. I'm including takeovers in that, so because takeovers are fun and we enjoy watching them. But after this, we got Fastlane. Then we have WrestleMania. Then we have Backlash, and they should be doing a draft or something right around then. So.
Right.
And we'll get things shaken up again. Because personally, I mean, they could do it that way, or they can just say, fuck it, let's just get rid of the draft. Like, get rid of the brand split. The brand split's a great thing to have, personally. You have a lot of talent, and it allows you to utilize that talent better. For example, we wouldn't have gotten Jinder as a champion.
No.
Without the brand split. We wouldn't... I'll go as far as saying we wouldn't have Bobby Roode as a champion.
Yeah.
Without the brand split. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
It's funny that there's more matches announced for Fastlane than there is for Elimination Chamber. It doesn't make sense, but
of course it does, because WWE doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. But, you know, all in all, we got that. We got some New Japan coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Honor Rising, I think it is coming up. So that's 2 shows, which I mean, I may torture myself and watch them live,
Yeah, maybe.
possibly.
Have fun with that. Tell me how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that you're going to be like, I need to see Kenny and Coda.
Yes.
So,
I need that in my life.
Yep.
So bad.
So, I mean, that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm not super like this is the problem I've had with wrestling since, and I'll go as far as saying the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason I don't like the Attitude Era, and it mostly comes down to shit like this. You get too much of a good thing, you get burnt out on it, and you're just like, it's a fucking chore now. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been several times where I've dropped off and stopped watching. And that's just the thing. I mean, that's honestly, it's I don't want to say it's at that point, but there's what they're doing is very uninspired.
Yeah.
And it's making it easy to say, you know what? Let's fucking take a back seat. Like, let's just let them do their thing, come back in a year. I mean, that's usually the way it works. I mean, my last break was shit, I want to say 2013 till 2016. It was a nice little 3-year break. And I come back and I'm like, I have no idea who any of these fucking guys are.
So many new faces up, and there's John Cena.
Yeah.
The one constant.
Well, no, what's funny is I'd be like, I remember watching for the first time when I decided to, like, let me give it it's been enough time, let me go back into it. And I'm like, the fuck's Tyler Black doing here? And John Moxley? Like, the CZW John Moxley? Are you fucking kidding me? You know, and it was little things like that. So, I mean, I don't even fucking know. Like, I'm worried of like taking time off and being like, what'll probably end up happening, and I mean, I can just see it now. What'll probably end up happening is I'll just get so burnt out on the WWE product that all watches New Japan. Because I can't get burnt out on New Japan. There's something about it. I mean,
right.
I guess it's because I guess part of it comes down to it's a lot of just in-ring. A lot of just in-ring action. And, I mean, you get the storylines playing out and stuff like that, but you don't have it as bad as you do with WWE. I mean, shit, I'd be willing to give Impact a chance, you know, at this point. It's like,
oh god.
I mean, they've done good work, and they're on Twitch.
True, they are.
Yeah, House of Hardcore, that's another one. House of Hardcore, Wrestle Circus, Impact. I mean, I would, if it came down to like watching those and being like, I'll watch these and New Japan and take a break from WWE, I would. I mean, it's plain and simple. It's just, to me, just seems like a logical thing. But with every pay-per-view that we do, we try to make a friendly wager.
Yes.
We've already come to terms on this, so... So, the end of the pay-per-view, if you end up losing, what happens?
I get to get myself a bottle of Boone's Farm wine. Pretty sure it'll probably be the apple or whatever the fuck I can get my hands on. And if you lose, what do you get to do?
Okay, so here's the thing. If I lose because of viability, it's a either or.
Mm-hmm.
So either I watch the movie David Lynch's Dune from
Mm-hmm.
1984 from start to finish in one sitting, sober,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or I play the Sega CD Dune game, which is loosely based on the book and David Lynch's movie. It's down to the point where like the main character looks like Kyle MacLachlan. Like they did the art to look like him, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I mean, it'll be one of those things. It'll be one of the two. One of which will be a stream.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure about the. I mean, I could probably do an IRL stream of me suffering through Dune.
Quite possibly.
So I can see that being viable as well. So I mean, who knows? We'll figure it out. But it'll be one of those two things. They'll both be either one is Dune related, and either one is 1984 David Lynch Dune related. So the runtime in the movie is 2 hours and I think 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the game is, I mean,
You don't have to complete it.
Yeah, I'm no.
At least I'm not making you play it in Fremen.
Yeah, because that would be a whole bunch of bullshit right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a challenge I would impose on myself if I was just like, you know what? I'm so confident I'll do it in this mode. And you're like, all right, go right ahead. You chose Finn in the Elimination Chamber, didn't you? That's interesting. We all know it's going to be Brock against Roman, so.
Yeah, we all know that.
Unless they issue a suspension to Roman.
Oh, true. Ah, shucks. Whatever will we do?
Give the match to either Seth or Finn. I mean,
I could see them going with Seth more than with Finn, honestly. As much as it pains me to say that, as much as I want to see Finn go and win and be amazing and awesome, and
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they'd probably favor the Kingslayer over over the Demon.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
can you imagine though if we actually do if we do get Roman versus Brock? Do you think he'd put him away with a spear?
No.
Yeah, I gotta hope. Because that'd be like a shitty way to like let yourself like drop your title to Roman Reigns' spear.
Well, see, the thing is that they've already had Ray had a big match at a WrestleMania, and it went over like a wet fart in church. So, arguably, Roman's gotten better in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. Like, personally, I just, no.
Yeah.
But, I
don't know.
Yep. Anyway.
None of us know.
25 minutes in, that wraps up the wrestling portion of this podcast. Because there's really nothing else to talk about.
I don't know. Do you think the dead man will make a comeback?
I mean, he's training again, so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we can all kind of figure out what the fuck that means.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. It's
just a matter on, I suppose, when.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely when. The New Orleans Athletic Commission does have those strict rules, though, when it comes to when it comes to
no
things
blood,
like blood, no pile drivers,
no drivers. Yeah.
So, meh. If anybody's gonna break those rules, it's gonna be WWE.
Of course.
Actually, you know what? I think that Ring of Honor will fucking break those rules too. So,
Possibly.
because they're running a show that same weekend.
Hmm.
Yep. That weekend, WrestleMania weekend, Ring of Honor's main event is Cody versus Kenny Omega.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep. It's a thing. But I mean, I I mean Taker's working out again. Like I can understand like he's an older gent. He's, trying to stay in shape, but the video of him squatting all that weight makes it look more like he's getting into ring shape than he is just getting into shape.
Right.
So has there been anything interesting going on in your corner of the Arctic Circle?
You mean aside from the fact that we're having a fucking second winter in the end of fucking February?
Yeah.
It snowed where I'm at last night. Roads were icy. I was late getting to work because roads were icy. Thankfully they cleared up miraculously over the course of the day. Thank you, sunshine, for that.
Yep.
Not really, no. Other than waiting on some car stuff so Nubis can come back and I can see him again and things.
And then you can try round 2 of.
I'm almost willing to wait a little bit longer to do a round 2 of apartment hunting.
No, I
personally
agree. I completely agree.
Especially since, my credit is shit.
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm still gonna keep an eye out for places. It's just the matter on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I understand that.
Fuck it.
I completely understand that, and it's I don't know.
Yeah.
You just gotta kind of take it as it comes, basically.
Pretty much.
Today I found out that remember that hot dog place I liked going to?
Yes.
That closed down? They've technically reopened.
Oh.
They technically reopened around Christmas.
Interesting.
I just found out now. They had 3 places lined up to get into, and it's just, all 3 places fell through, which sucks. And the owner went to one place to kind of just see if anything could happen. They just so happened needed a cook, and they are now running a limited menu of what the Perfectly Franks used to have. Now, if you guys have ever seen drive-ins, diners, and dives, there was
diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Whatever.
Triple D.
Yeah.
Guy Fieri's gonna take you to Flavortown, man.
Gonna slather me in that donkey sauce. And if retro Reaper's listening, I know he would be all for that. He's apparently like out of nowhere, it's just like it's kind of weird that I find Guy Fieri kind of attractive.
There is something about him. I don't know what it is.
And I was just like, so then I posted a picture of somebody did a Animorphs book with Guy Fieri on it where he turns into a sandwich, and he goes, I would read the shit out of that book.
Oh fuck yeah.
And then today I posted a video from Hot Ones where he's doing their wing challenge thing.
I saw the thumbnail of that. I haven't actually seen it.
It's actually a really cool little series they do. They conduct an interview while they eat hot wings.
Yep. I saw the I heard about this over New Year's because I have a bunch of geeky friends. Go figure. And my friend's sister was going on about what's his name? Astrophysicist.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes, him. He did an episode of that,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. I finally watched the Jericho one.
Yeah.
Which
Jericho
was
did
lovely.
one. Sasha
was
Banks
so-
has done one.
I saw the thumbnail for that. I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, I've kept up with it pretty much, so
Mhm.
like it's really cool. It's a very interesting concept, and yeah, I mean, between that, like the, I think it's what Feast First, or I forget the name of the goddamn channel.
First We Feast.
First We Feast, yeah. They have some really interesting program on that channel. I mean, they have that. They have the new burger show, where they have the guy that the guy from Egg Slut going around. Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I love that. There's, and I mean, I could talk at length for my love of like cooking shows and stuff like that, but like seriously, it's a thing. It is a thing. I will watch the shit out of some cooking videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you can't get on YouTube is this podcast, though. So,
and a part of me kind of wishes that we could, because I have such a fucking terrible time trying to watch anything on Twitch at work.
True.
It loads like shit. And by shit, I mean it doesn't load at all, and it buffers like nobody's business.
So, my thing is this. I'm thinking like if I do this, it'll probably be another month. But I'm contemplating uploading the rest of the episodes onto YouTube. And then doing a dual, like kind of like what Birthing Around does, where they got the YouTube release and then they have the Twitch premiere.
Twitch release.
Yeah.
Which I think would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like the Twitch release because it allows me to kind of sit and chat and chat with people, and use the new Discord channels to post notes from the episode. So, like last night we were talking about a bunch of different things, and I was able to kind of find images, and like when that came up, I was just dropping it in the thing. So, and considering I missed like 15 minutes of the show, it was nice to hear what I missed. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, surprisingly see me in your place.
Yeah.
I was a Todd replacement for a few minutes. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I saw that and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, why did this happen? Like,
because Wes didn't pay attention sooner and put up a fucking GIF or something when you dropped, and then because of the thing we used, it all shifted, and it was you.
Yeah. And anybody that watched that episode got a face reveal.
Got to see me in my natural habitat of looking like a slob when I get home from work. So, no. But I think, honestly, depending on how well that goes over, I might consider a little bit more seriously kind of implementing myself in a video sense to kind of complete the reactions or something. It's just right now, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, right now,
eventually,
probably be a
maybe.
rough one.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it was an unintentional thing that happened, and I mean, it caught me by surprise because I didn't expect it.
I kind of figured it was going to happen, so I just kind of just went, fuck it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, this is why we need to get you a luchador mask. So you can wear that just in case that happens again.
Exactly. Then I'd have the glasses over the luchador. mask though, so I can see. I'm blind without my glasses.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, we got this is the problem with doing as many podcasts as I do now, because I'm just like and I'm going over stuff. I'm like, talked about that, talked about that, talked about that, talked about that, and it's just like one of those situations. So it's like, it's fun. It is rather fun. But yeah, I mean, we got. Have you seen Black Panther yet?
I have not.
You should.
I'm sure I should. It's just a matter of, actually going out to see a movie, which is something I have not done in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I mean, it was a really good film. I enjoyed it immensely. I didn't enjoy the audience too much, but that's a whole different animal.
Right.
Because, I mean, when I watch a movie, I like to be able to hear the movie. And people were talking and stuff. I mean, it was like going to an indie wrestling show where everybody's just like fucking chanting and shit. And you're like, come on.
Right.
I mean, we don't need a this is awesome chant because, like, the show's about to start. I mean, fight forever. Like, no. Like, this is the opening credits. Just no, but in seriousness, it was just little things. I did have some issues technically with the film, but then again, that's because I was watching it from that standpoint of like, I didn't appreciate certain camera shots. I think one's hung a little too long. You know, they went to the well too many times on like wide shots, in my opinion. Like, it's a gorgeous film. They use a lot of wide shots though, and you're like, there were times where it was difficult to follow the action for me anyway. So I mean, and then I've talked to people that saw it in 3D, and they were just like, "Oh, those scenes were really easy to follow." And I'm like, it was probably because it was in 3D. It was easier to follow. So, but yeah, I mean, it was an interesting foray into the world of Wakanda, and all that entails. The story beats were there. They nailed the origin. So like they didn't spend. Like I was having this discussion with Ballin, because Ballin's seen it as well. And we were talking about Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and we both agree that they spent way too much time with Tony in the cave.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that's always been one of the issues with Marvel films, is when they do an origin, they do it too long. Like, give us the information we need, and then kind of move the fuck along. Like, we don't need to spend like 30 minutes in a cave, you know? At the same time, like, I'll take the first Captain America. I felt that was done well because we kind of needed to understand where he was coming from up until he became Cap. So, I mean, that worked. The Iron Man one, not so much, only because of how long it took. Did you see Doctor Strange?
No. I know I need to see it. I know it's on Netflix. I'm just very stubborn.
Yeah. No, it's a fantastic film. It's another one I feel that they spent just the right amount of time. Like, it's still a long origin, but it's still like they spent enough time to get all of it out and not be like, oh, well, now we have another 10 minutes of origin. I mean, they're getting better with this. They nailed it with Black Panther, so. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. How's so last night you were setting up a Spreadshirt store.
I haven't gotten very far.
You started doing it and then you kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah. I'll work on it eventually.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
And then people will be able to purchase Moriarty shirts.
Yep. Meh.
Had to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll be able to do that, which will be really cool. I know there's a bunch of people in your community that are really supportive of what you do, and I can definitely see you moving some shirts. So,
Oh, possibly. I mean, I think it would just be nice to get some merch out before PAX West.
yes, absolutely.
I'm also working on trying to make some type of business card that doesn't look like shit or like pre-done.
Yeah, fair enough.
Of like, because the one place I have been looking at, Vista Prints, like they have some kind of tea related cards. You can't really customize them.
That's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And then someone else suggested Moo, but that's so fucking expensive.
So one thing you can do, just you can go completely DIY on it if you need to. You get yourself some card stock. You do the design yourself. Get it all laid out. You will need one of those cool fucking sheet cutters.
Oh, I can't do straight lines to save my fucking life.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying get a sheet cutter. It's just the way it is. And you just do that. I mean, it costs you paper and ink as opposed to whatever the fuck they want to charge plus shipping. So,
right.
But get 200 business cards for free that you can't customize. Bless you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So it's, I mean, we had a interesting weekend. Interesting Sunday last week. If you guys haven't checked out Moriarty's stream, do it. You need to.
Yes.
It's a thing that has to happen. Always playing really cool shit, whether it's Subnautica, Stardew, which you haven't done in a while.
I haven't picked up Subnautica in forever. And Stardew. I've mainly just been focusing on The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You've been playing The Witcher 3 and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Well, that one I hadn't touched in forever either.
Fair enough. And you're close now. You're close to completion.
Yes. So. Then maybe hopefully next time I won't need you to hold my hand through it.
Well, and I mean, I've what's funny is I said to you that I would, the next time I do a playthrough, I want you in Discord. So you can make the choices for me on my stats, which will be interesting.
Malkavian with auto level.
Well, I've already done that. I've already done that.
Is there a way that you haven't played that game?
The way I haven't played it is by having somebody choose my stats for me.
Fuck.
But I can make most viable. Like even Malkavian auto spend. I was able to make that viable. It was a pain in the ass.
Oh, I bet.
Because so the way auto spend works in Vampire is based on your clan, you have a template. And when you get when you hit the required points, it automatically gives you what you need based on that template in order. So like this, like, oh, well, you need to have, like, the first thing you need to get is this, this, and this, which it gives you when you hit the auto spend button. during
Mhm.
the character creation, which is fine. Then after that, it's just like, oh, let's give you this stat. And you're just like, I'm not going to use that. Just like, got that stat now. Enjoy. And you're like, why am I not getting any like combat skills? It's just like, no, no reason. Like, we're gonna put points into your finance and your subterfuge. And like
Mhm.
subterfuge can be very useful because it allows you to seduce prostitutes to get free blood or discounted
Oh,
blood. So
nice.
yeah, it's a nice little thing to have. Um, but typically it's just the whole like for me, depending on what clan I'm playing. Like if I'm playing a Tremere, I'm investing heavily early into thaumaturgy
Mhm.
because I need to have my blood magic. On top of that, like I can forego a combat skill.
Right.
I've been rather dry today, so it's like um but I can forego a combat skill if I have thaumaturgy.
Mhm.
Um because with blood strike if it doesn't kill the target, you get blood back, so it just automatically feeds back into you. So
Mhm.
it's really cool. And you don't have to feed as much either when you do that. So you don't need to worry about like your seduction or anything like that. Like, oh, okay, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. You know, um, you can't raise your any of your physical above 4 though. So
Right.
I mean that's a thing. Um, if I'm playing a Toreador like you are, um, I tend to run like most of my builds I'll do high persuasion,
Mhm.
and that's just a thing. I know um I know based on the story beats, like the main story stuff, where I need to be before I get to it. So for example, before I get to the warehouse to be near the beginning of the game, I need to have at least a 5 in sneak.
Mhm.
So whether that's from dexterity or stealth, like that's I need to have at least like a 4 or a 5 to be able to
Right.
get through that with as little incident as possible. To get the sisters to reconcile, I need a 5 in persuasion. And
Mhm.
on top of that, when I have interactions with them, I can't badmouth either one. I have to kind of play it down the middle and be like, just the way it is. Um,
Mhm.
when I get to like the point you're at, um, my stats look a bit different than what yours look like.
Mhm.
Um, and it comes mostly down to like with a Toreador, yeah, it's nice to have points in celerity. Celerity's terrific, but I'm usually dropping more points into like skills I'll end up using. You know, I'll buff up my melee and I'll buff up my defense and my stamina and all of that, so I can survive more. And celerity will help with that too, where you harder to hit,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, my next playthrough, like basically what I'll do is I'll say you choose my character type and you choose my skills. So just the way it is. I have no problem doing that. I have none at all. And I think it'll be an interesting challenge for me, and it'll be an interesting way for you to kind of view the game. because you've watched me play this a few times. As many people have. You know, for Christ's sake, there was a good year period there where people just knew me as the vampire guy. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I don't want to think of myself as an ambassador for the game, but I'm relatively consistent with the game. I don't speed run it. I let people experience the story and all the other stuff, and I show off the mods and all the other things. So, and I mean, who doesn't love a dancing werewolf?
Right.
Dancing werewolf is best werewolf.
Yes.
Just saying.
That was amazing.
It's one of the best things in that whole fucking game, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm really excited about Werewolf the Apocalypse when that comes out. Because I hope it has a dancing vampire Easter egg.
Oh god, that'd be amazing.
It's kind of a throwback, you know? I just want that. I there's no reason for me to, but I just do. You know? But I mean, you've been getting back into streaming after your holiday break. I know you've mentioned getting back into doing your crafting, which would be terrific. It's just a matter of getting things set up for that.
Yeah.
Because I know there's people that miss it besides me. So.
I mean, I know I do.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, you're an interesting case because part of your community was built on gaming and the other half was built on crafting. So, like, right now you're just catering to the one, the other one's just like, I mean, still like what you do, but
it's not the same.
But cross-stitch, though.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I mean, we could... I keep saying this, but we got to get Ray on one time, so just...
Oh, absolutely.
You and Ray can just kind of talk at length about the crafts. And I can just say, yeah, it's a craft. It's fucking witchcraft.
Yeah.
So one day this is gonna happen, and okay, so people that listen to the podcast or are watching the video archive are probably just like, I don't get the joke. It's not a joke. Like, I am completely mystified by it. And
you and like a lot of other people, which is surprising because I don't find cross stitch to be that difficult to like comprehend and or do.
Yeah,
I there's no mystic whatever to it. It's just
there's no dark ritual or sacrifices that need to be made.
There's no blood sacrifice to some god somewhere.
It's not like Ray and needle felting,
pretty much.
But I mean, at the same time, like, just being able to create something from nothing.
It is pretty spectacular, I will admit.
Like, when you look at it from that standpoint, and you're like, well, like, if you just look at the finished product, you're like, it's pretty cool. But when you know that finished product started as, like, a blank piece of, was it Ida cloth? See, I'm learning terms.
Yes.
And you know that was like just this piece of cloth that was blank and then put into a frame, and somebody spent tens of hours, maybe 100 hours, depending on how complicated the design is.
Something like that.
It's amazing, and with your stream doing the cross stitch, we get to see the progress,
right?
Which is cool. And to some people, they're just like, oh, well, this, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how people can watch this. It's very soothing. something about just kind of sitting there and I mean, if you want, you can say vegging out
Yeah.
and just watching somebody make something out of nothing.
Oh, absolutely. I think I get more lurkers on my creative streams than I do on my gaming streams, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people just like either having, that background, or they love, just kind of doing what they're doing, but seeing me do something as well in real time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That kind of a deal.
I mean, the natural progression for this would be you doing like a stitch along.
That'll probably eventually come up one of these somethings.
Yeah.
Someday.
All right, so you're going to go and put your Ida into this size frame and pour yourself several shots of cake vodka?
No, don't craft tipsy. It does not turn out well. Never, ever, 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 ever do it. Friends don't let friends craft drunk.
Fair enough. I mean,
nothing good comes from it.
I mean, I know for me, like with writing, when I have a decent buzz, and it depends on what I'm drinking. If I have a decent buzz going, then I'll be like, I feel like writing. I'm inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do that. So like, and I know there's people that are, they'll do the same thing with like painting and such as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just moderation, I guess.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, I could see somebody sipping a screwdriver or something like that, and cross stitching or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and just little things like that. But I mean, at the same time, like it still is quite magical to to reiterate the point, to watch something be created from nothing.
Right.
You start with a pattern, and then, I mean, you did that the circus one, which came out fucking amazing.
Yes, I was so proud to finally finish that one.
And I mean, you were doing that. What would you say? 45, 50 hours?
Pattern back in September. I stopped working on it like shortly after that because stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really can't tell how many hours it took me to finish that through and through. Especially when, more often than not, I had to rip out stitches I had done because I fucked up somewhere.
Yeah. And then at the same time, you would also be doing it, because I'm just going based on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you were also working on it off stream as well.
Right.
So I think that'd be an interesting thing to just kind of have. I mean, you could have your own project, but to have one you're just doing on stream only, so we can kind of see how long it takes, that'd be kind of cool as well.
Right, which is generally what I started doing. When I started doing my creative streams, is I'd only work on it on stream.
Mm-hmm. The circus one was something special though, because
one, because I had held on to it for such a fucking long time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I mean, it'd be like we'd be watching pay-per-view or something like that, and while we're watching that, you'd be working on it. So
right,
and then ripping out stitches because you got distracted and fucked up.
Yep, as tends to happen.
Somebody pull out a bag of thumbtacks or something.
Yeah,
I'm joking. That was WWE.
I know.
It didn't happen. Just horrible chair spots.
I'm pretty sure I worked on. Did I do with a cross stitch a little bit during our
Tea and Thanksgiving? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
also
did that.
Pretty sure during the Foley Christmas special as well.
I don't remember you doing it during the Foley one.
I don't remember either. Huh.
I want to say during the Foley one, because I think you were also kind of packing for your.
Oh fuck, that's right. Yeah.
Or trips. So.
Right. plural.
Yeah, because you had the holiday trip and then you had the Disney trip.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, the cab driver in Vampire the Masquerade should have an option to take you to Disneyland.
That would be amazing. That would be so cool. Oh my god. Vampire Disneyland.
Vampire Disneyland, it'd be terrific.
Somebody needs to make a mod to make that a thing. Get on it.
You have no idea how difficult the mod is. Like, make mods for that
Oh,
game.
I have. You're right. I have no idea, but I imagine it is really fucking difficult.
I mean, making mods in general is difficult, but then making mods for
Mhm.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is
Right.
a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's running on a. I'll take, for example, the engine.
Mm-hmm.
So it runs on the Source engine. And you're just like, oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that run on Source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are. Fun part about that is really no two versions of the Source engine are the same.
Right.
And especially when it comes to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and Half-Life 2. So, I mean, I've mentioned it, and it's public knowledge. They're both released on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
They both use different versions of the Source engine. Basically, what ended up happening was do you remember when the Source engine got leaked?
No.
Okay. So at some point, it wasn't the Source engine, it was Half-Life 2. At a certain point during the development of both Half-Life 2 and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, there was a preview build, like a dev-only preview build that got leaked.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was, because it was just like tools for, you had an area to work in and all the other stuff, but based on that theft, Valve decided that they were going to redo the Source engine.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't resemble what they had put out.
Right.
Which is fine. But when they did that, they, as per the agreement that, software agreement with Activision, and in this case, Troika Games,
Mm-hmm.
Troika had to stop working on Bloodlines. Like, completely. Until they were given the go-ahead to continue work.
Hmm.
In doing so, like, the deadline they had, which was the game couldn't come out before Half-Life 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because Half-Life 2 had to be the first one out the gate with the Source engine. Well, the way around that is you have both games released on the same day. But because production had been halted, QA got halted, features and areas got cut, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a whole bunch of shit. And, I mean, you look at people like Wesp. Wesp is the individual behind the unofficial patch. He's done a lot to restore some of that content that was cut.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still like little things in the game that point to cut content. Prime example of this is when LaCroix sends you to the museum.
Right.
He goes, here are the keys to the museum, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And your only option is, I don't need keys, I'll go through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because the whole outside area was cut. Because they didn't have enough time to finish it.
Right.
So, I mean, there's little things like that. Right now, there's one mod that's very ambitious for Bloodlines, the Anti-Tribu mod, and I have a very love-hate thing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I love some of the stuff it does, but I hate that it's so combat heavy.
Right.
I mean, there's not even ways around the combat. So, like, thing one, I like the gun mechanics work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who fucking knew you can fix the gun mechanics in Bloodlines
It's amazing.
to make firearms actually fucking viable? So, but the other side of that is now there's all these new encounters that can only be solved with combat.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to like King's Way, there's a whole bunch of hunters there, and not just like the mall security guards you've been seeing every now and then, but like these are like highly trained dudes that put even Bach to shame, and you're just like, oh. They added way too much as well. I mean, they added a little thing with the Harbingers of Skulls, which I was excited about. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a timed sequence where you just have to basically survive for a certain amount of time. But also in like the streets of downtown, you'll be walking and you'll be like, "Was that fucking Jack from Mass Effect 2?" Like, what? So I mean, and because of the source engine, it's prone to memory leaks.
Right.
Like bad memory leaks. Like, your visual cache will start filling up quick. And then when that happens, you'll start noticing that certain items are being replaced with other items, such as, I don't know, doorknobs replaced with computer monitors, or giant fan blades replacing just regular items that are supposed to be laying on the ground.
I want a computer monitor doorknob now.
But it's just, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I say, and during your playthrough, when we hit like the 4-hour mark, and I'm just like, you're going to want to save, exit the game out, and start again, and just boot it right back up.
Right.
Because it clears that out and it remedies that issue. Another ambitious mod that I'm actually looking forward to is the new version of Clan Quest mod. Clan Quest mod, yeah, you play as the this is, let me get back to Anti-Tribute as well, before I get into this. So Anti-Tribute changes the clans you can play as.
Right.
Which is cool, because now you have the Samdi, you have the Nagaraja, you have the Zamitsi, you have old clan Zamitsi, you have Giovanni, and I'm trying to remember who you have Asimite, and then there's like another one. I can't fucking remember what it is.
Wow.
Clan Quest mod, you have the standard clans from the game. So you got your Ventrue, your Tremere, your Toreador, your Bruja, your Gangrel, Malkavian, Tremere. So you have them. Each clan has a specific quest that you can only pick up if you're playing as that clan, which is cool. It allows you to kind of get a little bit more in depth with the clan, which is nice. As well as some other quests, such as there's a CDC guy in downtown. You could talk to him, and he wants to get the fuck out of downtown. So he has you basically start an epidemic in Hollywood. So he gets pulled out of downtown to go to Hollywood instead.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a shitty thing to do, but, at the same time, it gets you experience. There's one where you meet a Kuei Jin, and you kind of just spend a night with her. And you find out, you can find out her story and stuff like that. Find out a little bit more about the Kuei Jin. Bless you.
Thank you.
So, I mean, all in all, I really enjoyed what the Clan Quest mods offered in the past. In the new version, they're adding a new hub, which I'm excited about. They're adding a new haven, which is even more exciting. new NPCs, new voiced NPCs,
Ooh.
new quest. Like there's a whole new quest line and also a new ending to the game.
Mm.
So
Nice.
I'm so fucking excited, and I'm so looking forward to that. Like it's super ambitious. It's been taking a lot of time because Bloodlines isn't an easy game to mod.
Yeah.
And you can find out, like, if you're interested in Bloodlines or any of the mods or anything like that, I cannot stress enough, check out planetvampire.com. They're an amazing site. I've been going to that site since fucking, I want to say 1999, maybe 2000, when Vampire the Masquerade Redemption came out. I mean, to me, they're a big fucking deal. And it's just like, I'm very excited for them. I'm very excited when something new comes out in the community as well. So I think they have a Discord as well, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool place. Really nice people. Like, if you want to know about like the World of Darkness, and it's not just the computer games, like, it's a great place to kind of hang out. You have a lot of role players there that know the lore. You can ask questions about stuff and usually get a response relatively quick. Some of the people that work on the mods hang out in the Discord as well, so they occasionally will be like, "Oh, hey, here, just released a new preview for this new mod we're working on." So it's very cool, very exciting. And I mean, I can't stress enough how thankful I am that not only that Planet Vampire's around, but also how much they've done for me personally. Right. I mean, the crew there is terrific. I mean, I got introduced to them because somebody saw a YouTube video I did and wanted me to preview a mod that they were working on. They got Planet Vampire in touch with me, and next thing you know, they're promoting me, which was really cool. Like, right now, as it stands, in their Discord, whenever I go live, you have a bunch of people that play Bloodlines and Redemption and stuff like that. Right. I'm the only person that is when I go live, it's announced in their Discord. And that's nice. It blows my fucking mind. And I mean, I love, it goes back to me saying, I don't want to say I'm an ambassador for the game, but I mean, I like showing things that I enjoy. I like showing games that I really like, and Bloodlines is one of those games. It's, November, it'll be 14 years old, and been kept alive by an amazing community. I mean, there's people that are playing it for the first time. I know, for example, you're playing it really for the first time. Jesse said next time it goes on sale, he's picking it up so he can play it for the first time. So, I mean, it's amazing. It really is. And it's one of those games. There's a saying when it comes to Bloodlines, you mention it, somebody reinstalls it. That's how memorable this game is. So, it's been mentioned a lot tonight. So, you guys know what to do. If it's not installed already, fucking reinstall that shit right now.
Yep.
I also got to get back to doing Stardew Valley.
Yeah, me too.
I'm horrible at the game, so it's like legit horrible.
Me too, no worries. No worries. Can you grow a crop?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm legitimately horrible at the game. I am like...
Do I need to sit in with you on this one as well?
Probably. This... Me doing Stardew would be like you doing Vampire, basically. That's just like, okay, do this. Go to this place, get this fertilizer. You're going to need this. You don't need it right now. You're going to need it in a little bit. and now we're in winter. Did you build the greenhouse I told you to build? That's a no.
Yep.
All right. So now you're kind of screwed because now you can't have your summer crops in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I can grow crops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically what it'd be. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff we need to still do. We gotta, like, I'd love to kind of do some more gaming with people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a thing that needs to happen. Even if it means dusting off some older games that I've got that I haven't played, that other people I know have, such as Gauntlet, Golf with Friends, getting you through GTA race so you can actually play GTA online.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that. So
Yeah.
honestly, I think once you're done with that race in GTA Online and you can actually play GTA Online,
Mm-hmm.
you would have fun.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. And I mean, that would be a nice little thing to have. Like, have like a community night where it's just like we just get a whole bunch of people we know that are playing the game or whatever, and just kind of hang out, play with them. Somebody's bound to have a yacht. We can go on their yacht and just hang out there and shoot off fireworks and shit.
Sweet.
Like, why the fuck not, right?
Sounds like a good time to me.
Well, I mean, there's that. There's Golf with Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something I've never played. I have it. I've never played it.
Oh, God. We're going to have to do that sometime.
There's a lot of games I have that I have never played.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Golf with Friends is one of them. Gauntlet's another one. The elf shot the food. Elf always shoots the food.
Yeah.
What is it? The hell's that game? Was it Don't Starve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that, and that's just I've never booted that up. So, as I said, there's a bunch of games, and one of those things. Like, and then of course there's Friday the 13th. I'd love to do a night with that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole problem is getting people together for it, though.
Yep.
I mean, it's always the big problem. But yeah. It's just, I don't know.
Man.
I personally think that, like, of all the people I know that stream,
Mm-hmm.
and I told Wes this last night after you, Ray, left. So, because we were kind of talking like after cast,
Right.
and I said, because we got into some of the stuff, like we got into specifics on something we touched on last night's episode that like probably shouldn't have talked about, but whatever, it happens. And I said, well, I know for me, whenever Mori is streaming, I try not to stream.
Right.
Because I'd much rather be sitting there and enjoying the stream than actually and I mean, I fucking love your content. Your content's terrific.
No, thank you.
So, I mean, there's that. So, yeah, that was a thing that was mentioned last night. So, yeah.
Aw, shucks.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of people whose content we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can go ad nauseum on, whether it's Sinea or Giant,
Yep.
all the wonderful people that we know that are doing whatever they're doing, whether it's Ballin playing Stellaris or Ray not doing crafting and playing Kingdom Hearts instead.
Mm-hmm.
The random Anubis stream, which is just random Anubis is random.
Yes.
It just happens. You're like, what?
Just happens.
I saw that and I was just like, the fuck? Like, Anubis streams? Like, It'd be like
That he
adult
does.
streaming, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was fun. But yeah, I mean, we just know so many other great creators,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, end of the day, I as much as I love creating, I love supporting as well.
Yes.
And whether it's working in somebody's channel or, you know, being active in their chat or so on and so forth, I mean, there's many different ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of show your support for people. Drop a host, drop a follow on Twitch. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, the biggest thing you guys can do to support somebody, the biggest thing, if you enjoy it, let other people know.
Mm-hmm.
Let other people know that, you know, what you're watching or what you're listening to, whether it's this podcast, whether it's a Twitch stream, a YouTuber that you're watching. You know, let people know. It's, oh, well, the channels I watch, they don't need the support. Everybody needs the support.
Yes.
You know, it's just, if you enjoy the content, you probably know people that would enjoy it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's half of what we do on Twitch is supporting like-minded people.
Yep.
I enjoy Mori's content. Mori introduced me to Giant. I enjoy Giant's content.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when you were doing the creative stuff, like we'll take somebody like Little Violet Vixen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, amazing work.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, if I look at people I'll host over to, that, you know, they're technically part of the community or they're people I know of that I enjoy the work of. I mean, I like sharing that out. I mean, it's just somebody that comes to my stream might be like, "Oh, that's really cool," or "Hey, I like this person's personality."
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I know typically sounds like a cop out, but oh, they got a great personality. Like half of the stream game, half of the content creation game is personality. Sorry, that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look at have you checked out Sarah Nicole Creations?
Mm-mm.
I would highly recommend her stream.
Okay.
She does crafting and gaming,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to remember what it's exactly called, but it was kind of like doing pixel art with beads.
Wow.
I know Ray knew the name for it
Right.
right off the top, and she goes, "Oh, like oh,
Mm-hmm.
she's doing that," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I won't remember what you just said." So some kind of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean like whether it's that or she's playing with the community doing like Mario Kart and stuff like that. I mean, it's great content. It really is.
Hmm.
Man, I would gladly put her over. I gladly Amy Plays, who's doing a lot of Guild Wars stuff right now. I mean, Guild Wars 2 is a game that I've been meaning to get into and I haven't. And
Mm-hmm.
knowing people that play it makes it a little bit easier for me to say, maybe I should finally update it. You play it?
I have it. I haven't played it in forever though.
Gotcha.
But I do have it because Anubis started playing it, and then I got him the expansions, and then he stopped playing it.
I got Guild Wars 2 when Guild Wars 2 became free.
Right.
And I installed it. And then every time I go, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I should play Guild Wars 2. It's just like, you have an update. And I'm looking and I'm just like, this is going to take all day. Fuck that. And I'll close down the update and just I'll do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Amy Plays does Guild Wars 2. Sinea does Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, apparently you play Guild Wars 2 or have in the past. So, I mean, it's be interesting. I that could also be another interesting community night
Oh,
of like
absolutely.
people doing Guild Wars too, especially us fucking scrubby noobs that don't know shit about the game.
Yeah, noobs can run circles around us and laugh.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know you. What is it? Game that I just didn't grab me, but I know people love. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Warframe.
Yeah.
That's another one. I mean,
Yeah, I want to learn to love the game. I just really fucking suck at it.
I couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into Warframe.
I'm still trying
Yeah,
to.
it's a rough one.
It's better with friends,
Yeah,
but I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
yeah. I mean, I see. I've tried playing it twice. I've tried playing it on PC and I've tried playing it on the Xbox, and each time I just couldn't get into it. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, well, maybe it's the controls. And then when I played it on the Xbox, I'm like, it wasn't the controls. So, but once again, I know people that enjoy the shit out of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I personally, I I love seeing what people like as well. You know,
Right.
and I'm not about to go and like, shit on something somebody likes just because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this gets a little touchy because we've had issues in my Discord with this same situation happening. Where
Right.
somebody will mention something and somebody will chime in going, "How could you support them because blah 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 blah." And it's just like, "Fuck, dude. Like this person enjoys this game you don't like, and now you're going to shit on it. I don't see how I'm shitting on it." Like,
Hmm.
and then you hit them with like actual science because they think that they're so much more learned than you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which fair. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll give you that point, but it's people underestimate me like when it comes because the way I look,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I People are like, "Oh, what are you in your mid 20s?" And I'm like, "No, I'm almost in my mid 30s." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So they don't expect me to know things like, for example, like, oh, expansion packs or so on and so forth, you know, like it kind of touches on last night's topic of like the
Mm-hmm.
kids wearing those retro PS3 games, you know?
Uh,
Yeah.
we're so old.
Yup. Indeed we are. At least I am.
Yeah, PS3 is not retro. To me,
No?
that's still fucking new. To be fair, I'm that person that thinks like, the 90s was 10 years ago, and it's like not.
Well, fair enough. I'm that guy that listens to classic rock radio, hears Blink 182 and goes, "What the
That
fuck?"
I've been basically my bread and butter listening at work because I fucking hate the radio that we have on it in the office. I've
Yeah.
been listening to like 90s and grunge.
Yeah. Fair
Thank you,
enough.
Sirius XM. Because oh my god, so good. Because that's the music I grew up on. Basically, it's just Green Day and fucking uh so many.
See, and I would say I grew up on that music, but I grew up with that music.
Right.
So it's like for me, like I remember um oh did you hear Soundgarden? It's just like, what's that? And they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, their second album just came out. You gotta check it out. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
here, let me lend you the cassette of it.
Oh,
You
I
know?
miss cassette.
Yeah. I found a whole bunch of cassettes, by the way, and I'm
That's
just like,
amazing.
and what is it? I want to say it's an Anthrax cassette I had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I forget what album it was, but I'm like, I found all these like cassettes and old games and shit, and I'm like, what? I fucking remember this thing. Like, what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck? So And then I realized like I'm old. I'm old.
Mm-hmm.
But
Old man.
yeah. It's I mean I've had Sirius XM before.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was just XM, I had it for maybe 2 or 3 years after they merged.
Mm-hmm.
Um but my go-to was like the 80s station
Mm-hmm.
and the comedies. Well, maybe sometimes the comedy station.
Right.
I would listen to a lot of talk radio though. Talk
Mm-hmm.
radio is really where it's at. But yeah, I mean music wise it was like 80s. Like I would just go with the 80s station, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the Sirius equivalent of it was, but it was on XM. They would have like this is how cutesy they were. Channel 5 was the 50s on 5.
Mm-hmm.
Channel 6 was the 60s on 6.
Of course.
70s on 7. The
Mm-hmm.
80s on 8. The 90s on 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had like well, it was still the 2000s, so it's just like Channel 10 was like the music of today,
Right.
I would sit there and I would leave that shit on 80s on 8 and just fucking I'm like, "Oh shit, this is and then I would also listen to Rock is Jericho on the
Mm-hmm.
Boneyard because that
Mm-hmm.
was fucking because they had like 4 or 5 metal stations too and I'm like, "Yes. This is terrific." And hearing and like one night I'm just flipping through and I'm just like, "That's Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing?" And I'm like, "This is interesting." And it was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna be listening to like this is probably one of my favorite tracks from Annihilator." And I'm like, "What? This song is amazing." But yeah, I mean, it's just I grew up on like the music I grew up on like 70s and 80s rock.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, 70s and
And
80s just in general. And like
mm-hmm.
I grew with the 90s. So like for me, I don't have such fondness for like
You don't have that nostalgia like I do.
I mean, some stuff I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you give me and it's very specific, but if you were to give
Mm-hmm.
me like a No Doubt song from before they hit,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, "Oh shit." Or if you gave me a Sugar Ray song back before they hit, like
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz they did some interesting stuff before they became like that poppy fucking homogenized bullshit, you know?
Right.
And I mean, I could say the same thing about No Doubt before they became like whatever the fuck they became
Mm-hmm.
with Tragic Kingdom, but
Mm-hmm.
which
I
and
feel like
it,
Tragic Kingdom was like the first CD that I heard of theirs.
yeah, it's I mean that was their breakout.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, they were very much more of a like a punk ska,
Yeah.
and it's just I mean, it's like when I break out some of the Alanis Morissette stuff I have, like before
Mm-hmm.
Jagged Little Pill,
Yeah.
and you're just like, sounds like Alanis, but this is way too dancey. Like, what the fuck is this? And like, this is Alanis Morissette. Like, this is off of her debut album. Like, and then I'll put on Bjork because fuck it, Bjork.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. We're gonna have to do like we'll end up doing like an episode at one point about just nostalgia
Mm-hmm.
and and how and how it's an interesting fickle beast
Mm-hmm.
because you may be nostalgic for some things, but then you go back to it and you're just like, why did I like this?
Mm-hmm.
Do that a lot with music. Do it a
Yeah.
lot with music. Why did I think Limp Bizkit was a good idea? What's this new metal shit? Like, you know? Oh, but Corn and the Insane Clown Posse, like, yeah.
Oh my god. I was listening to one of the rock stations earlier and Corn came on, but it was like Corn with like dubstep in it.
Yeah.
It was really fucking weird. I didn't know how to feel about it.
It's just
Like, why is robot sex in the middle of this? I don't understand.
Gonna make the beat. I mean, you're pretty well versed in different types of music, like different styles, like certain things you like, certain things you don't. And
right.
That's part of everybody's growing up. I mean, you're gonna be exposed to some stuff, and you may not appreciate when you're younger. You get older, and you're just like, you know what? This is actually a pretty nice track. Like, I enjoy this. I mean, I've done that with some of the music from the 70s, especially. Even some 80s stuff. Like, I wasn't always about, like, Duran Duran. I wasn't always about, like, Culture Club or The Cure. And The Cure and Bauhaus, especially. I wasn't always about that. But, hell, even Depeche Mode. But at a certain point, like, you listen to it and you're just like, I understand this. I like this. I don't know why, but I do. And then you end up sitting there listening to, like, you set a playlist that's just that, and it's like a 50-hour playlist. So, I've done that a few times. Done that to Warren Zevon. That was a fun road trip.
I bet.
The my friend that I went with on the road trip fucking hated. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just certain music just at a certain time you just go, it fits. I didn't like this. I do now. So never write anything off. I mean, I never thought I would really like electro swing. I didn't think I would, and it just I heard it and I'm like, oh shit. I didn't think I would like psychobilly or gothabilly or anything like that, but listen to it and I'm like, oh shit, I kind of like this. So it's all about taking chances. And kids, as you get older, you start hanging on to the music of your youth, and everything else that has come out past your youth is shit. It's how you look at things. So you just be like, and you won't set in like right away, but you'll be sitting there in a car and you'll put on the radio and you'll go, fuck is this garbage? And at that point you'll realize that you've hit that age.
Yep.
You have two choices. One, embrace the old nostalgic ways of, let me listen to the things I listened to back in high school. Or you go, you know what? Let me give this a chance. I got to give this a chance. And that's, you'll be a better person for doing that. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's music, movies, TV shows, games. I mean, there might be something that right now you don't appreciate, and then 5-10 years down the road you revisit because somebody's just like, seriously, man, you got to go back and give that a fucking real try. And you go, you know what? This is actually a lot better than I remember it. And then you go back to a game you loved growing up, and oh, this game's shit. This is really bad. Can't believe I spent so many hours playing Barbie Dreamhouse Simulator.
I was waiting for that.
So yeah. Anyway, I think that'd be a good point to wrap up. It's been a fun cast as always.
Yes.
And I mean, if you guys like what we do here, obviously you can either recommend us to people that you know. Subscribe to the podcast. Go to twitch.tv/precipicepodcast. Drop a follow. That's a thing you can do as well. As well as going to twitch.tv/Moriarty_time. Drop a follow there as well. You will not be disappointed. And if you really want to support the Precipice Podcast Network, it's a little thing called Loot Crate. Go in the show notes, click the link, sign up to Loot Crate, get yourself one. A very awesome, very amazing service. It's like Comic-Con in a box. They have many different styles of boxes as well. So whether you're into comics, just general geekery, lootwear, cartoons, Harry Potter, Marvel, I mean, they got a little something for everybody. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Gimmick Bag. We'll catch you on the next one. See you guys next week.
Bye.